The button.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Real Estate Uncensored. We have an amazing show. We have a returning victim, Mr. Michael Fielden, a dear good friend. 20 years I have known this man. We've been selling real estate side by side. He's been my tech mentor. We're going to talk about tech for 2024, what AI is doing, what's coming down the pipe, how you can increase your business, functionality, and just allow you to do more fun shit in life instead of having to do the cold calls, the door knocks. We have some funny stories about that, but I want you guys to stick around. Michael has got some great tips and tricks for you. Before we get to our incredible guest, Miss Alyssa Glatz. Miss
Hi.
my credit. Hi.
Thank you for letting me be here again.
Dude, of course. I mean, the show wouldn't be the show without you. So, I mean, of course you have to be here. But I'm actually really excited because we were in pre-show talking about kind of what Michael has been kind of uncovering. And if you guys don't know who he is, go back and look at his other interviews. But I'll tell you one thing, when it comes to tech and it comes to hacking your own life in your business, this man is absolute gangster status. So without further ado, Mr. Michael Fielden, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing
Great.
well.
So nice to be back.
I know.
Like it's been months.
It has been months, but we missed you every single day.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I was talking with a buddy of mine in regards to tech, where real estate is going. Another good friend of ours who you know as well, James the Zillow Killer. He's talking a lot about AI and kind of what 2024 could look like. And Michael, I just want to have you lead off with a story about, since you've been selling real estate for a long time, when you and I first met. Well, fuck it, you tell the story. This is how the story goes.
Okay.
It started with, how did you guys meet?
How did you?
Yes.
Well, we met through a mutual broker, but that aside, Greg was teaching real estate to a bunch of newbies, which was me at the time. And this was probably 20 years ago. And it was a 6-series class. It was designed to take somebody from not knowing anything, which was me, to selling real estate. And I don't have a prop here. I'm sure I've got them somewhere. Greg handed me a stack on the first day of business cards. And I'm sure some of you have gone through this. And he said, don't come back to this class until you have given these business cards away. I went to the first door, and it was like maybe a block down the street from my house. And I knocked on the door, and the lady answered, and she was holding her little dropkick dog, and she was probably I don't even remember what she was wearing. She slammed the door in my face, basically, right as I started talking. Greg didn't tell us what to say. He just gave us the cards and said, "Go get rid of the card." He didn't tell us what to say. There was no prompt or anything. So long story short, it was trash day. I walked to the street, lifted up the bin, and threw the cards away and said, "There, I got rid of them."
That's it.
And that's probably why
I haven't. Your drum. That was not your drum.
Not my drum. Probably not why I've sold a ton of real estate, which I have not. But there was no way that was going to work for me, and that was kind of what I told Greg. And I tried to explain it when we went back, but we've been friends ever since, and so I guess it wasn't all that bad. And can I allude to what we're doing on the other side?
Go.
So at that time, the class was called Agents in Motion, and it was designed literally by Greg to get people from A to Z. And by that, I mean, you could come in not knowing anything, and a lot of the people did, and you could leave being able to go out and cold call, market, solicit, and actually complete a real estate transaction. 20 years later, Greg and I are now working on putting that business into the hands of everyone. We're going to give you the option of learning online through webinars, recorded training, support materials, all of the scripts. And it's designed to make it accessible to everyone, both at a price level and a timing level. You don't need to make a huge investment to learn how to do this. Most people that are getting started are coming from something where they were making money,
right?
And they're taking this giant leap to get into real estate. And lo and behold, a lot of them succeed, a lot of them don't. The AIM program, this training that we're putting together, is designed to help make sure everyone can succeed.
Yeah, and it's designed because what we're going to talk about today is, Michael and I are two totally different people. Alyssa's a totally different person. We all have different personalities and mindsets and abilities to put up different levels of pain. Like Michael could sit there and write a book and be as happy as a clam. I'd shoot myself in the face with a shotgun and reload and do it again. But I'll do cold calls. I did 3,800 phone calls yesterday, and I'm fine with that. I have no problem. I'll sit there and hang out with my buddies and do calls. Yeah. And this program is going to be designed to show both sides and everything in the middle, plus a lot of different aspects that we'll get into later. But what we want to talk about today is tech. Now, Alyssa, I know you're big in tech. You got a huge following on multiple different platforms, so you're familiar with the technology. But Michael's talking about, and I want to jump directly into some of the stuff we were talking about in the pre-show, because even Alyssa was going like, "Oh my gosh, like I really freaking need this. Like this would be cool." So, Michael, lead us off on 2024. Where do you see the tech side going, and how can people stand out, or should you just keep making cold calls on your own?
Well, first off, the one thing I have learned from you and everybody else in this industry is there is no free lunch.
No.
And when you say, should you just keep making cold calls? Absolutely. You should be making cold calls while you are doing other things. Okay. And it's the belly to belly approach. It's the getting in front of people that always exceeds. That said, what we were talking about before this started was 2024 is going to be the year of AI. AI is going to hit real estate, and it's going to hit all of these industries that are like real estate in ways that won't ever be repeated again. So an example of where I think, AI is going to hit in just a small one is we're going to get rid of all of the errors that are made. AI is going to come in and make sure that your name is spelled correctly on every single form in the document. All of those things in the back end are really just going to help the consumers. They're going to help the agents. You're going to have CRMs that go out, and if Greg puts a name and phone number, hey, I made a contact, I've got a name and a phone number, it's going to be able to go out and it's going to be able to search the web and search this massive amount of data, and it's going to start filling in the pieces that Greg is missing. Yeah, the blanks. And, in the mortgage industry, this is expanding even further because it's giving people the ability to look at data that they may not otherwise have seen. Now, those are the boring back end pieces that tie into CRM. What we really started off with is how marketing is moving forward. And I own a company called Support Geeks. We provide technology and marketing and business support to real estate agents. And we focus on how you are going to move forward using technology. One of the things that is coming out right now is technology where we can replace Greg, not necessarily in the cold call sense, but you can record your voice, you can record your video. AI is going to learn from what you record, and these aren't huge recordings. This is less than a minute, and it's going to enable you to build videos without actually participating in the process.
That is freaking fascinating. I mean, it makes my skin crawl in a weird way.
Okay, so this is the one that Greg's going to love. There's a company called Tavis, Tavus. They're not consumer facing per se. They're more enterprise facing. But what they allow you to do is they allow you to record a 1-minute voice and a 1-minute video, and they will then create videos. There are companies like Wonder Breads that are using this, not Wonder Breads, Wonder Delivery, that are using this to deliver food products that they create. And what they then send out is a video on behalf of the chefs that are making the food. The
What?
chef doesn't have to participate, but it's a personal touch. So after you place an order online, you're going to get a video that's from a real live AI person that says, "Hey, Greg, I just wanted to thank you for the order. And I wanted to go through what you're getting because it knows what your order is and what I did to create that." And, this is a
Wow.
company that has hundreds and hundreds of people that are doing this. And they're like, "Look, guys, we know you don't want to go door to door with these business cards, but we want to give a personal touch."
Right.
Okay. And where this could come in for somebody, in the real estate industry, where I see this going is Greg makes a call and he's like, "Woo, I made a call and I got through to somebody." That's great. Now he puts in an email address and he says, "Fire off my welcome email." Greg's face, Greg's voice says, "Hey, listen, we just finished talking on the phone and I wanted to just express my thanks and let you know, 123 Happy Lane looks like a marvelous property because we now have this information in AI. The 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, Greg may not even know this, but it's picked this up from the internet, is really in demand right now. And you're going to be able to go out there." And then guess what? Because Greg knows people in the mortgage industry, it's going to go out and say, as you're looking for something new, your credit, based on what I know, is going to qualify you for this kind of rate. And, based on where you're living, that's going to give you the ability to upsize your home. Or maybe Greg keyed in that they're looking to downsize.
Right.
And so he checked a box that says downsize. So let me talk to you about what downsize is. I can see that you're over the age of 55 because AI knows that too. Let me talk about what we can do with your tax basis here in California as you move and what that means for you.
What?
It,
That's insane.
it really is. Think about somebody who was like, let's say that they're going to need to relocate to another state. And, you don't know anything about, let's just say up in Redding, California, where you have to pay like a special assessment tax, like extras, the extras that only are state specific.
Yeah.
But giving your buyers, sellers, or whatever, someone's going to move and you're able to provide them this kind of resource for what you don't know.
Yeah.
That's, well, I mean, it's like Alameda and Contra Costa counties, like, right? We're neighboring counties here in Northern California. Contra Costa County, there's no real sewer lateral, expenses. Alameda, definitely sewer laterals.
Mhm.
And so when people buy from Alameda into Contra Costa, their mindset is in a certain way. So walking them through that process and helping them understand the step by step that AI will generate for you, I mean, that is an astonishingly awesome move. But the sad thing is, Michael, not a lot of people are going to use it because they're going to be afraid of it because it's going to take away from their personal connection, right?
Well, but it is going to take away from their personal connection, but their clients, on the other hand, are going to feel more connected because it's your
More heard.
voice,
Mhm.
more heard. It's your voice, it's your face. And what it really becomes, and I think this is the big promise of AI, is it becomes accessible on their time.
Mhm.
So one of the things, right now, a lot of people think you guys hold all the information. You have all the stuff, right? Everybody wants what you have,
Right.
but you only have 24 hours in the day.
Mhm.
What we have seen up until now, and a lot of people hate them, are these chatbots and these automated systems that weren't truly AI. They were programmatically driven
Mhm.
and they didn't feel real. They didn't sound real. They weren't
Mhm.
connected to an individual. Those days are rapidly going to be gone. The
Right.
chatbot of tomorrow is no pauses. It's natural language. It's tied to your face. It's tied to emotion. And it gives you the ability to work 24/7 and scale your business. So as a realtor, you're out doing an open house. Somebody can type in your chatbot and they say, "Can you explain to me what the sewer lateral is?" Well, the AI goes, "Yeah, I can." The easiest way is probably for me to send you a video. Let me quick put something together for you. And 30 seconds later, you get an email that has a link to a video that says, "Okay, let's talk about the sewer lateral so that you know what this means, because we all know, and if you don't know this yet, go back 5 years in video, because we'll explain it. Video is where real estate's at.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to type. I know that Greg does like 3-minute recordings of little voice snippets and sends me voice. And I'm like, dude, I need the notes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about, how can I? So now I got to write while I'm in the car. But people are done taking notes.
Yeah.
And those AI things are out there. I mean, right now, today, you can go out and you can get, Greg, if you want to put up the link for Descript.com.
Yep.
This is a great way to make your videos and your podcasts, because some of us that are doing this today, we want to do these videos. We want to put stuff out into the world, and we just don't know how, or we struggle, or we never get good enough.
Mhm.
Well, Descript is going to help you get good enough. They're going to help you make videos that are better than what you can make on your own. And I'm going to tell you, the one thing I love about Descript for the average realtor, okay, is they can sit in front of their webcam and they can record, and a lot of them are going to be all, yeah, so you want to go and do this. Descript can take that video and they are going to remove the ums, and they are going to tie it all together. And they're going to remove those dramatic pauses while you are thinking, and they're going to give you, and you don't have to know how to edit video. All you have to know is that you can upload it into Descript.
This right here is everything. I'm just telling you. I found that whenever I would flip on a camera and just start thinking I was going to create this great minute just like that, it just doesn't happen. During the lives for an hour, during the lives on TikTok, I'm just talking like this.
Yeah.
I'm very loose. I'm just answering questions. I don't know what's going to come, to be able to take that hour and put it into something that then goes and creates magical, 10 videos or whatever the case, or whatever it can do, is amazing. Is
Yep.
amazing. I think a lot of people will then be able to just flip the camera on, and don't worry, it will come to you. You don't have a minute or less. You can go. Yeah, Andy, you're right. It's a game changer. I'm so excited to get into that.
The interesting thing is that like Descript only costs, if you want to get the pro version, that's only $24 a month. You want to get the creative version, it's $12 a month. And then you also have a free version for only 1 hour. But if you're just starting out, fuck, why not just get the free version, get 1 hour, crank out, 4 videos, 3 videos, and just give it a friggin' run.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because then you can also go back, and Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can also go back and you have AI create the video content, create the title, drop it into AI PRM, into their, script creator for YouTube, take that script, give it to these other programs, and all of a sudden it will take you 20 minutes while you drink a beer and smoke a bowl, and you're just like, all right, here's my content for a month, let's go. And it takes the fear out of it, because now you can be the god or goddess of your area based upon local phenomenon. So let's say there's a local article about real estate, or some sort of new business opening up, or something. Get the script written, drop it into the script. You've already recorded your voice and your face. It'll then create the video. Then you can post the video, and you are done in like 30 minutes flat, and you got like 6 videos.
Yeah.
That is freaking astonishing.
Greg,
100%.
think about the fact that we were talking about this the other night, that, I put into chat the other night, give me 52 weekly topics that I can send a video once a week to my database. And within 14 seconds, I've got 52. Now I can take the weekly topic and I can change it up. I can make it my own, but it's a rule. It's like just having that calendar, having the start. But it really does. AI is really going to work best for you. It's all about what you feed it, right? And that's the stuff that AI can't get to necessarily, is the personal conversation I was having with John. knowing that his son is getting ready to go into surgery, knowing that their number one thing on their heart right now is this charity, all of those things. We have to learn how to get back to listening with our full heart, because we've just gone a million directions and we've become robots. But the more that we can get real with ourselves, get more authentic in our relationships, the better we're going to prompt and feed AI. Well, that will then, take it to a whole other level. Because it doesn't just wake up. You don't just wake up and go, Chad, make me look amazing. He won't do anything for you. I tried. You got to be very specific.
Wait a second.
Specific.
You could use Midjourney and you could get something. So there's definitely tools out there. But I think, Alyssa, what you're putting out there is important to remember as well, because as realtors, we do work with mortgage people, we do work with title people, and sometimes we want that message out there. So one of the things that we can request is, hey, Alyssa, can you put together, 10 videos about these topics? Well, the beautiful part about what's coming is with things like Tavis, she could build those videos one time and change the intro without having to do anything. So it's pretty fascinating. She could build one video, send it to 500 people, and it's going to be personalized for each one. Now, I know, Greg, before this, somebody had asked about property taxes. The one thing I want to remind you about most AI generators today is they are about 4 months behind in data. So getting real live current information, like mortgage rates, for example, does not quite work yet.
I
getting
specifically asked the question on chat. I said, can you tell me the property taxes for this property?
Nope.
And I have the most advanced version now. It says I couldn't find it. That information changes quite a bit.
Well, that's because you have to work for the NSA for that to actually come up.
But we're getting there. And 2024 is probably the year that we will get there. But there's a lot of concern about, and there's one that Descript would take away. There's a lot of concern that people are going to shadow the AI so that you create biases. And one of the things that they're trying to avoid is both consciousness, right? We don't want AI to build a conscious model, but we also want to avoid bias built on race, religion, social constructs that are out there, because it's all about the data that is brought into the system. And it's super powerful, but it's also super dangerous. What they've already found is that AI can fabricate information. There's a certain amount of stuff it just makes up, because
it is true. That is true.
That's how it's trained, right? There's a lot of data that, as it sucks in this massive amount of data, some of it is false. And sometimes AI will just create something that is
basically, it's basic.
It's a lie.
Yeah. I ask a lot about credit. I have to, a lot of times I have to go back to them and go, but that's not accurate. This is accurate. And then it thinks for a minute and comes back and says, I stand corrected. You're right. Now, whether he's just telling me that or he actually went back and went, shit, she is right.
Total
I don't care.
typical guy, right?
I really don't care. Just tell me I'm beautiful.
guy.
Let's move on.
So we go back to some of the mainstream information that everyone's been screaming for the last several years, fake news, right? So how does this play into fake news versus real news? And how can you understand if you're a newer agent or new agent, or shit, man, that's the first fucking time you've heard about this stuff, and you're like, oh, that sounds great. But then you're like, oh crap, I sent out a lot of stuff to my database and it was completely off base. Like, I was using a system for a while. I still use it, don't get me wrong, but their numbers on rental numbers are astronomically off the charts wrong. Like, we're talking $15,000 a month off, right? So how can you double check that? How can you teach it? How can you train your AI? It's like your dog. How do you train your AI to be a better AI?
Well,
I was going to say, can you ask what is your resource, or what, where did you get that information from, Chad? Can you get more specific with it?
Yeah. Greg, most of us, mere mortals are not going to be able to train our AI, right? We're using somebody else's model, whether it be Chat GPT or somebody else. The thing that you have to remember is, especially with like rent rolls and stuff, and as it ties to our industry, is there are two factors that play into account. One is what actually happened, and two is when did it happen. So rentals are a little bit tricky because that information is not generally public information. It's not like a home sale that's recorded. If you rent a property that was advertised at 15,000 a month and you're really only paying 5, nobody knows that except for you and the landlord.
True.
In home sales and purchases, we may have 10 sales in Danville, nice community in the East Bay, south of San Francisco, or excuse me, east of San Francisco. We may have 10 sales. One of those sales might be 25 million and the rest are $1 million. So
that's actually very accurate. Just sold for 35 million. Yeah.
So what happens
average?
What happens to the average during that month? There's this weird anomaly, and AI doesn't look at the trends,
Nuances.
right? They don't look at, they can't pull out the one and say, oh, we shouldn't really count the one that's 35 million because those don't weird. Sell, right? Oh, that's been on the market for 2 years, right? Those things don't come out. So I think we've got to put a bunch of, there's still knowledge. You got to know something in order to sell real estate.
Well, yes. I think what a lot of folks are looking for, and correct me, guys, this is the way I'm thinking about it. If I was a newer agent or someone who's learning about this, which I am, I'm just like everybody else. I'm learning about this as it goes. That's why we have Michael here to really kind of rein us in a little bit here so we don't go all cattywampus and get all weird. But, I think about it as like, oh my God, it can take away everything. All I have to do is go on appointments and just make $1 trillion. But like you said, it's still going to take work. You still have to have knowledge. You still have to be a practitioner in this industry. You can't just sit around and say, well, it solved everything, and now it's also going to make me dinner and make my bed. Yeah. No, that's just not where it is right now. So if you keep doing what you're doing, but you do add-ins and fill-ins, you figure out where your pain points are. So for, like Michael talked about earlier in the show, I personally am dyslexic and I'm ADHD, so I get bored quickly, and reading is my nemesis. It's not a fun thing for me to do. And so he's like, okay, great. Well, I'm going to make an audiobook out of my book. And Alyssa's like, oh my God, I need the same thing for my book. I can make an audiobook so people like me can hear it. And so if I'm out walking, running, walking the dog, doing something, I can still partake and learn, but I can also still give my clientele the ability to do the same ability of freedom. Like they don't have to be sitting there and reading my emails. They can be out and about watching a video that my AI sent them, right? Around specific topics.
In the language they prefer, even.
In the language. Exactly. And I find that if you, I'm thinking about it as myself. If I start doing this on a smaller scale, right? Like 1 million people, and you could use it for recruiting for your brokerage. You could use it for client retention. You could use it for client recruitment. You could use it for probably for dating sites. I mean,
that's what I keep thinking about. Yeah.
Like
talk about a background check. I'll be like, hey, date one. So tell me about your restraining order. I'll be like, boom. Yeah.
What? How about tell me about your AI?
Yeah. Your AI has been AI, and I have been having such a great conversation. How are you?
For the audience, I think the part that Greg's missing, though, because real estate is all about connection, is this book that I'm recording for Greg. I spent about 1.5 minutes. I was using 11 Labs, 11labs.io to upload my book. I spent 1 minute recording my voice, and it trained the AI model to generate the book in my voice.
That's fucking cool.
So it sounds like me. It's not perfect. There's some intonations and, places where you might want it to, build a little suspense that don't come across. but it does this, and it's in minutes versus the hours it would take me to read the book and trial it. And then Alyssa talked about, changing the language. Okay. Want to make your book in Spanish? Boom.
Yeah.
Upload it in English. I don't speak Spanish. I'm going to assume it's right. So you might want to have somebody that actually speaks Spanish listen to it, make sure that it's all correct and that it flows, because there are nuances with every language, but it gives you the ability to publish things that are out there in languages that apply to your clients.
Amazing.
And that is actually a fascinating part about that, because Michael, you go back to different languages, Portuguese, Spanish, Canadian.
German is the #1 language in a lot of states.
Yeah.
German
behind English and Spanish. German is like a big language. Navajo. I mean, come on, Arizona, #1 language. I mean, #3 is Navajo.
But that's what I'm saying about this, is the fact that we all talk about breaking into different marketplaces, getting more client base, right? But first you have to be able to retain the client base once you meet them. You can't be like, hola, and then they're like, hola, and then they only speak Spanish, and you're like, fuck, I only speak English. Son of a biscuit. New AI. But I mean, but if you partner with another real estate agent or a lender who speaks that other language fluently, and you're the face of it, and you can get them into a transaction and save them from working with a bad broker, how can that be a bad thing? Like, it just can't be a bad thing. Check with your legal teams and check with your broker on legalities for that, everybody. But I mean, think about the thought patterns there. Think about the gaps that you're missing in business based upon what we couldn't do in the past. Michael?
And Greg, I think you have a great point there. Take the legal aspect out of it and the actual conversation. In the Bay Area, we have a huge cultural variety of people.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that I run into all the time when I'm working with people is, oh, here's my mom. They're helping me buy this house. They don't speak English.
Yeah.
Right.
I speak great. I'm going to do all of this. So it's like, well, hey, let me put the flyer together for you in,
your language,
Spanish, in the language of your choice. Boom, 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 boom. It translates it out. The pictures are the same. It looks great. And you could give it to them. You could even, you want me to send the flyer to your parents? I get it. So they only speak Spanish. I'll send them a video in Spanish here real quick. Boom. Video goes out. It's you in Spanish. It's your voice. Be careful, because next time they see you, they're going to talk to you in Spanish and you're going to be like, I have no idea. Although you can get by with Google Translate on your smartphone, and you can actually carry on a conversation very easy. So if you haven't done that, it's great. I have some people that work for me that only speak Spanish, and we do it all the time. But it gives you that, again, when we talk about connection,
that trust level.
I build the trust. How am I going to connect? How am I going to make it easier for you? Because Greg's going to teach you all about the hard things. Go give out the business cards. Hardest thing in the world. 12 line dialer. Oh yeah. Okay. I don't even call my mom. It's like,
I don't either. I know, but the connection, I've used it even for dating, but I think the connection, even for realtors or anybody, to be able to use for businesses. I was dating somebody, or I might be dating them, that they are somewhat famous. So I just said, how would him and I work out? Yeah, I just put, this is his website. Do you think we look like a good match? And he gave me a very in tune, conversation. But I think same thing with a business. I said, what would be the best way for me to present my business to this guy, this person? But it doesn't have to be for dating, for a business. How could I benefit, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, or from a real estate point of view? And it just goes into a deep dive about the person you're getting ready to go sit in front of, and help you better understand, what benefits you bring.
So let me ask you this. Okay, let's play on that really quickly. Michael and Alyssa, walk me through this one, because my brain's going a billion miles, and I want to look down. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm actually literally taking notes.
Yeah.
What about, okay, so we're going on a listing appointment. We're going to the Fielden house, right? And I don't know much about Michael, and he's married to Alyssa. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to Google these two fools. And Michael's like, yeah, score.
My man.
Don't tell my wife.
Or the guy I'm kind of
but
dating. Okay.
so I know the names, right? Because I go to title and I check out the names. I go to LinkedIn. I then go and I take their LinkedIn profile and I can drop it into AI. And then I can understand their wants, their needs, their desires, kind of what the fits are, kind of can it do personality types like on the disc profile or something like that yet?
If you have it somewhere.
Holy shit, because then that creates your listing presentation. Are you going to be like a D, just straight to the point, no bullshit, give me bullet points, get out in 5 minutes and I'm good to go? Or are you going to be an S and a C and you want to hear everything about life?
Gosh, tailored.
So no, it's not going to do that quite for you. And I think this is where you have to worry about authenticity, because you don't want to go in expecting a D and get an S and a C.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because this is about mindset. What it can do is prepare you with more information. So one of the things that we always look at when we're talking about AI is, what's your digital footprint?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a lot of information online? Okay, we can assume certain things. These people are probably going to be technical, right? If there's a lot of references for Alyssa on the internet, I'm going to know, okay, Alyssa's out there. She's, doing all this. If she's a date perspective, then, oh, okay, so she's probably on the major profiles. I can start digging deeper and deeper, and AI can source a lot of that information for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's going to lose out is interpreting what that is, because I think all of us know that we have one personality for here and another personality that we project to the world.
No.
And you've got to make sure that those two are out there and
in line. Yeah.
In line. And AI is going to make some assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
you have the ability to go and there are definitely lots of resources if that just panics you to all, I was worried the other night because I wanted to put out a website. I thought it'd be a very fun Thanksgiving game called, Good Day, Bad Day. And you could go to this website and either you put your family member's name into missing money, and they might have money out there, right? They might have real money, or you put it into this other website, which I'm not going to name, but it brings up all court records across the whole entire country and everything you want. So I thought that would be kind of fun. Like, Tommy, let's see if you got any money this year or any judgments or you've been to jail. And then I thought maybe this wouldn't be a good idea. So I didn't put it out there, but I did go, you go on there and you go start searching for stuff, and you could get, obviously you could be reading into something that you really, it could be the wrong person. It could be a whole story. It's always dig a little bit. Don't be making assumptions. I always think, it's nice to have more information than less, but you got to still take give the person the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you a question. There's a site called landingsite.ai, right? And you can go to landingsite.ai, and I'll put it up here right now. And what it is that you can just go in there, and I did it. And it's so bone-numbingly simple to create templated websites that look good, feel good for the average real estate agent. And they asked for like a quote, they asked for a photo, and then they generated the whole site for me. And it's just sitting there waiting for me to build out. And so, I mean, if you have multiple different companies, or you can build it for different particular, properties, buyer side, seller side. I mean, there's another site. Michael, have you heard of that one or not?
There's a bunch of them out there. I'm looking at this now, and this is definitely, kind of the future of what our industry has referred to as landing pages.
Yep.
This is the way people are going to build them. It's single property website, a single goal. You want to market to 95124. You're going to build a page in here, and these guys are $10 a month. So there are a lot of people that are out there. I know that Canva is starting to do this, and there are AI tools now where you can design something in Canva, export that to a file, and it will build you a website based on that file.
No.
So there,
Canva's key.
Yeah, if you're not using Canva today, and they have now integrated AI, if you are not using Canva, that is your one takeaway from today. Go
Number
sign
one
up for
goal.
Canva. It's like $10 a month for your team, or $15, and it
And then
is
get on
truly
YouTube, right? And go watch
get on.
some tutorials and classes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the other one that's out there, because I know Greg likes the wowsy stuff, it is a little bit harder to use, but I would encourage everyone in this industry to go look at Midjourney,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is basically AI for creating an image. And if you are in real estate, this is truly a game changer, especially as you look at how are we going to uh, roll with the changing market. And what I've recently used it for is I have a friend that does property management. And in property management, they don't stage houses like we do in real estate,
Mhm.
but they want to. They want to see that.
Mhm.
You can now upload a picture of a room in Midjourney, and
Mhm.
you can say, imagine this room with IKEA furniture looking modern, bright, and airy. And it will come back in minutes, seconds, with images that show that room furnished. So you can now put this
That's
in your
amazing.
ads
Mhm.
with zero. I think Midjourney's less than $20 a month. And he does all of his homes this way now. And it is truly
Yeah.
virtual staging.
Wasn't
Well,
your
we
brother talking, Greg, about that? Brent?
yeah, Brad was talking about
Brett,
that. We use a
Brett.
company called Box Brownie out of
Yeah.
Australia.
Mhm.
And they've done a lot of good work. They'll go on and we'll take a photo. It could be like a renter's house or something where they're not going to clean up. They'll take everything off the counters. They'll take everything off of anything, and it looks clean and pristine. And we're moving away from traditional staging because it costs an arm and a leg to do traditional staging.
Mhm.
We're just on MLS. We're just stacking raw photo, stage photo, raw photo, stage photo. And so, or
Giving
reverse it,
them
however you want to do
vision.
it.
Giving them the vision.
Yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
people are freaking loving it because
Yeah.
the sellers are like, I don't have to have stuff scraping my floors. I don't have to have people in and out of my house if they're still afraid of COVID or whatever else in life. And it's just like, wow, okay, this is super simple. I get it back in like a day and I'm off to the races and running. So if you can do videos, you can get photos from, the homeowner going like, hey, well, if you're going to list my house, I want you to stage it. Great. Take 5 photos of your house, send them over to me, and I'll show you what we can do. What? Just send me 5 photos of your house. Doesn't matter. But
So
that's powerful.
the other thing, Greg, if you
Our-
haven't started using this yet for Box Brownie, they recently released Snap, 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 SNAP 3 times. And you can now go out to a property with your iPhone or your Android phone, put it on a tripod. It will take high resolution photos, send them up to Box Brownie, and 24 hours later, you're going to get fully rendered photos with the furniture of your choice.
I'm looking at that right now from the first photo to the second photo on this thing.
Yeah.
That is freaking nutso pants.
It is crazy. And the other thing that
Wow.
people don't realize is that tools like this and Box Brownie and AI, they can all do this. And I think the AI is slowly going to change Box Brownie's business model. But let's say that you go out there at 10 in the morning and you're like, God, I bet this house would look bitchin' in the sunset. Okay. They can make it sunset. They don't need you to go back out there. They can change the lighting. They can remove stuff from the counters, like Greg said. I recently went out there to a property to shoot a Matterport, which we still have to go out. Those are the 3D tutorials. And my wife left something on the counter. It was her purse and a backpack. She's got a huge thing. And they were able to take all that off. You would never have known. And we finished the walkthrough without having to go back. So all of these things become part of your arsenal. It's a quiver like business cards. And one of the things that I've started doing, and I don't sell like Greg does, I sell to my friends who are mostly engineers and geeky people. I've started talking about these technologies and saying, we're using these, we're doing this and we're doing that. I'm not trying to hide it. I don't hide behind the fact that we're using these tools because I want people to understand that we're
Right.
educated. We know what's out there. We know how to get the information. I mean, imagine, Alyssa, if you were a mortgage broker and somebody said, what are the interest rates? And you're like, I don't know.
My AI this morning said this, and this, and this. And
Yep.
you got to, it's that authenticity that you only get one shot. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking at Snap right now more and more. This is insane because you're right. It syncs directly up the Box Brownie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen to professional photographers? Because I'm assuming that Box Brownie has a flyer program built in, so they'll ship you flyers or have them printed for you, or send a file to you to have them printed or something like that. Right?
So the one thing I would say is your iPhone or your Android phone, if it's within 2 or 3 revs, is probably as good of quality as any professional photographer camera.
By the way, guys, Michael is a professional photographer, so when he's saying that, he's not fucking with you. Like, I've shot with this man many times.
But, and this is where I'm gonna give you the big caveat here, is that doesn't mean the average realtor knows where to stand to get the best photo or the highest quality. Mm-hmm. And Greg, you and I both know this better than most. That doesn't mean that the average realtor wants to actually go out and take pictures.
I mean, what are they doing all day? Eating bonbons, sitting on the couch?
And I will never forget when we were teaching AIM, we had one of the agents that had listed a property, and I did a lot of stuff for technology for this broker and the legal part. And I will never forget, and I don't know if you remember this, but it always struck me as really funny. There was an agent that said, do I actually need to go to the property to do my Avid?
Yes, you do.
Are you sure? Can I do it from the photos? And I'm assuming every market has an Avid. So this is the agent visual inspection disclosure where you're supposed to go out, and I still don't understand as an agent, there are caveats of what you can say and what you can't, but you're supposed to tell people what's wrong with this property.
What you see as a licensed agent, not as a contractor, visual inspection only. So you can't say there's a foundation crack. You say there's a crack in the wall, right? Yep. But anyways, keep going. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
But they were like, can I just look at the photos and go out there and avoid going out there? And I think this is one of those places where education plays in, but I think it's also common sense.
It is. When I was teaching AIM originally, there was a student that came through at the other brokerage, and she came in because it was Mondays and Wednesdays, and she came in on a Wednesday. And because on Monday I said, okay, I want you to go prospect, come back and tell me what you did on Wednesday. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. She was like, okay. She came back in, and this goes back to agents being interesting in their mindsets. I'm like, okay, so what'd you do for prospecting? She's like, I watched YouTube videos. What? What did you? No, seriously, what'd you do? I watched YouTube videos for the last 2 days.
I bet you I know this agent.
Yes, I know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was blown away by it. And I think that the reason why I tell that story is that I was fucking dumbfounded. I was like, are you shitting me? And I think that there leads into the potential of real estate agents having that lackadaisical mindset. They're like, well, AI can take care of everything. But Michael, you stated earlier, and Alyssa, you have too, that this is a belly to belly, face to face, eyeball to eyeball business. It's a contact sport. It's cliche. Yes, I get it, but it's the true fact. I mean, I have a couple of guys I'm working with that I've known for years at this point, and they're throwing listings my direction because we've stayed in contact. We've talked about trucks, we've talked about guns, we've talked about beer, and we ate a hamburger together. Mm-hmm. That is the last time. I haven't seen this guy in probably 3 years, and we're still talking on a monthly, weekly basis and sending referrals back and forth because we connected over trucks. I have an SRT8. He has a Ford Raptor, and we just connected. That's the power. But I would say, Michael and Alyssa, that and guys, give me your points. What we're talking about with AI and tech for 2024, these are vehicles for conversations
Right.
with your prospects and future friends
100%.
and business partners. If you rely on this to do everything, you're fucked in life. Like seriously.
Yeah.
You have to allow and understand where these where they fill the gap in your business. Like, I don't want to write, I don't want to read, I want to listen, and I want to go. So Michael's like, okay, I'll fill that gap for you, Greg. I will create an audiobook. Here's the technology.
Yep.
Create audiobooks, create video tutorials, create what's missing through AI in your business so you don't have to do it on a repetitive basis. 20 years ago, I was fuck man, YouTube was relatively new at that point. It was kind of getting a little bit of legs behind it, underneath it, but not too much. And I got tired of talking about a company I was a part of and talking to agents around the nation about how to do door knocking. So I sat down and I did a 4-series set of door knocking. And I'll tell you one thing, door knocking and cold call videos that I set up just because I got tired of saying the same motherfucking thing saying so many freaking times. There are more guys and gals that are top producers that have gone out and watched my videos and, you know, took my bullet points because they're like, oh, I'm looking for this information. That is what you can do with this content. Create what the consumers are looking for, give it to them on a consistent basis with relevant content, and then allow it to work. Because a video on YouTube and a video on social media, it's a living business card for the X amount of time it's going to be around.
Yep.
So when you're asleep, when you're having dinner, when you're out walking, when you're kicking it with your spouse or partner, and you get a call like, hi, my name is Stacy. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm moving to San Francisco. I saw your video about blah, 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 yakety schmack. Evidence in the pudding, because you've used AI to create the content. It created the content because you fed it the right content, and then you allowed the people to find you.
Yeah.
But the human touch part of it is so irreplaceable.
Yes.
You have to keep remembering that. And some of us, like I said at the beginning, some of us have to get back to learning how to be human again, like really human. Some of us are robots in ourselves, but the personal insight, the heart of listening, the emotional intelligence, the compassion, that's the stuff you have to tap into so that people feel that there's an authentic relationship. Then they can accept the AI. They can accept if I write a blog, you know, they're not just looking at it like it's canned information. They know that I've brought me into it. And probably as a partner with AI, I'm giving you a much better, you know, thing on a plate here than what it would be with. See, I can't even communicate. I'm like, thing on a plate. What is
Thing
that?
on a plate.
I don't even know what that is. But, you know,
It's a technical term.
AI would be like, it's called a whatever they call chef's kiss or whatever.
Bourgeois.
Yep.
But so Michael, let's talk about it, because we've been going for almost an hour. I cannot believe it's almost been an hour. I mean, this feels like it's been 10 minutes.
Good stuff, yeah.
Let's walk me through a step-by-step process of an agent dipping their big toe into AI and tech in 2024. You know, give me 3 or 4 or 5 like scenarios. Like where would you start for audio book creation, video creation? You know, how would people start this?
So let's step outside for a second. And the first thing that I stress to every agent that I talk to is 2020 and COVID changed everything. And for those of you that haven't started using it yet, Zoom or Google Meet as part of your tool chest is absolutely the number one thing that you should focus on. And I think when you look at Alyssa and you look at Greg here, you'll notice that they've got a well-lit space. It's designed to support their discussions. They've got a decent microphone. They've got a good quality camera. It's well lit. Those are going to be the start of what you can leverage for your venture, if you will, into 2024. I do not believe in this day and age that you can say to somebody in most markets, hey, can we do our first meeting via Zoom so that I can get some information from you? And they're going to say, I don't know what Zoom is, or I don't know what Google Meet is. They
Right.
are. And that's going to give you a vehicle to see who they are, to see, how do they present. Most people aren't going to have a nice background. So you're going to see some of their house. Okay. It looks well cared for. It's well lit. Those are the things I'm going to pull out from that conversation. And I get to meet them and connect face to face. The AI component of this, and Greg knows this is one of my favorite tools. You're going to use a product called fireflies.ai.
So cool. So cool.
What Fireflies will allow you to do is record that session, and then it uses AI to pull out who was talking, how much they were talking, what they said, any questions that were asked. So it's going to give you a list of questions. Anything where you said, let me get back to you, it's going to pull that out and it's going to highlight the things you want to do. AI knows how to read a conversation and say, okay, here's what you have. It's also going to tell you, and this is the part that I value the most, who was talking the most. It's going to say, Michael Fielden was talking 50% of the time, client was talking 50%. And I'm just going to tell you that if it's 50-50, you're probably not doing your job right in that first call. You do not want to be talking more than your client. You want it to be like 75% them telling you what you have. Now you have that recorded, you've got it transcribed, and you can store it. If you pay a little bit of money, I think I pay like $25 a month, it will actually record the video. So if you wanted to go back, I never go back, but I absolutely love the transcription, and I use the things. Did I answer all of the questions? Now I know when I'm done with that conversation, I need to go back and do this. And I use this literally as much as I can.
Michael, I got it. Oh, go ahead. I got to say AI. I mean, the transaction coordinator role, the loan officer assistant role, just everything about it that you could just hand this conversation off and they were there.
It also comes into play with your TC, with your loan officer, with the transaction on the other side. You can have these meetings, and while I hate to say it, it's quite a bit different having a transcribed message and bullets when you have to go back and say, no, you actually did say boom, boom, boom.
No, and I was going to bring that up in regards to talking with clients over a contested situation, having a video conference with another agent when you're trying to get clarity on a situation or a negotiation or a request for repairs or anything like that. Say, let's just quickly jump on a video call. Let's just go face to face super quick. You can be on your phone, not a problem, right? Yeah. And then Fireflies joins in as a silent, listener, like a fly on the wall. And then so if it comes down to he said, she said issue, right? You can be like, let's review that real quick.
Well, yeah, because I think everybody in this industry knows buyers are liars. Buyers are liars.
Well, they're confused, but yes.
Well, they're confused, but this is a way for you to put that out there. Now, the part that I really like about this isn't a tool for you to cover your ass or to back yourself up. You can actually forward this transcription to your client and show them what you did. And I send this to every single person that was a participant, and it tells them so that they can remember what you said, right? It's an accountability partner for you. It's not just about looking at somebody else. It gives you a really easy way to go in there and just keep track, because
that communication, keeping it clear, and the distractions every few minutes. We're like listening and we're interested and we're passionate, but then someone's knocking on your door, and so your brain's over here, right?
Okay, and then you have tools like Descript, and I can't say enough for Descript, and it's Descript.com. Sellers are yellers. Sellers are yellers. Descript will allow us to upload this video to Descript, and it will transcribe that video, and it will even add, if we choose to do that, it will even add subtitles without us having to do anything in the background.
That's great.
And if we really wanted to be cool, we could have it remove the ums and the ahs and the stuff that we don't want, but it's really painful to do that on your own if you're not using AI. So these tools give you something. If you want to try blogging or podcasting or just creating videos, use one of these tools. Don't make it hard for yourself.
Right.
You do not have to be perfect. And
No.
excuse me, as we go into 24, I think that the big keyword for what we're coming into is authenticity. And this was probably the 2023 keyword, and
Word of the year.
22 and 21. It's be true to who you are, right? These tools aren't here to replace you. A lot of people are afraid, oh my God, AI is coming. AI is here. It's no
Mhm.
longer coming. It's here.
Mhm.
And it's not going to replace you.
Mhm.
Until AI can get its ass in the car and drive over to your client at 8:30 at night and tell them how to do something, you will not be replaced.
Well, Michael, you and I remember this, and Alyssa, you do too. When Zillow just came out, it was God, 23, 24 years ago, however long they've been really around. I remember that my dad and I were at an open house at one of our listings in Danville, and all the agents, all the big names now, Michael, that are now big, that were not big then, were all huddled around my dad in the kitchen, going, "What do you think about Zillow? Is it going to replace us?"
Mhm.
And none of us knew what was going to take place, but my dad had the same exact response. He's been a broker for 60 plus years, guys. He goes, "No, it's not going to replace you. You can't replace you." Just based on what Michael just said, it's not going to get in the car. It's going to be a tool for you. And if they're going to take some market share and they're eventually going to make a business move, and he actually said that out loud, 20 plus years ago. But you know what? AI is not going to replace you. It will enhance your ability to assist another human. All you have to do is latch your brain around it, get ahead of it. Look at your marketplace. Look who's around you. Who's doing what in your area? Like, what's the best freaking agent that's in your area? Go look if they're using AI. I'd almost guarantee you that they're not. And if they are, it's like big pinky toe, just trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this thing. But if you listen to Michael, if you go and you study, kind of some of these other gurus out there that are talking about this stuff, doesn't even have to be for real estate. Just understand what is growing, understand where this is going. You will be leaps and bounds ahead. I would personally go to supportgeeks.com, get set up with a consultation, get out there, let them come in and do some tech work for you, walk you through this stuff. It doesn't have to be overthought. You put a couple of bucks from your business account, to get shit straight so you can get back out doing what you're good at. And look at the overall cost. So, Michael, you mentioned like 25, 15, 10. So we're like what, 150, 200 bucks a month, maybe, for all these tools?
I would say most people are going to spend 50 to 75 bucks because if you get too many, you're not going to use any of them.
Yeah.
And, to what you're saying, Greg, I think that when you think about AI is not going to replace you. It's going to replace the things you don't like to do. So you can focus on cold calling, getting new business, generating leads. Those are the things that AI can't do well. It can't cold call. Okay.
It can't cultivate a relationship, right?
There actually is an AI program I saw this morning when I was making coffee, when I was watching Instagram, that it can do cold calls for you. Now, am I going to say it's good? I'm not going to say it's good. I don't know, but I just saw it, and so you said it, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, there is something, but it sounds a little clunky. I wouldn't trust it yet. But I mean, but you can track, you can record, so that'll be fire files. You can use
Fireflies.
Flies. Like the thing is the flies. Fireflies, yes, the one with the glowy
AI.
butts. You can use all these different programs. If you get a good cam, I use a camera called Face Cam. It's about 130 bucks. Best freaking camera I've ever seen, ever, when it comes to recording. You go to Descript, take out the ums and ums, and the kind of the when you said Travis, Travas.
It is Tavis, Tavus.
Tavis.
Tavus.io.
I mean, and just those tools.
Unfortunately, Tavis isn't available for the average person yet. They're primarily focusing on, they started with Meta and the larger companies.
You mean like one of the biggest companies in the entire globe?
Yeah,
Those
because
small guys.
they needed money. But I think they are, absolutely revolutionizing what you can do with video. And again, for many of us, that's one of the things that we don't like doing.
Right.
Right. I hate recording videos. I hate the process of going in there and doing that. So replace it.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, just me thinking about that, because I mean, I have 48 fairly substantial topics I want to cover in 2024, plus the fillers content. If I could get all of those written and then scheduled to post out once a week or whatever, I would be no. Is there okay? Here's the question. Let's say we get these videos built up, right? And I want them cut into smaller story size bites. Is there someone that can cut that up for you?
There's AI.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's that site?
I know what you're thinking about. I can't remember. They give you 60 minutes free a month of ripping and gripping.
I've done it too. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what that.
Descript can do it. There's a lot of different ones out there that can do it.
I'll put it in the comments after. I'll find it. Yeah.
And that's only a small part of AI, Greg. The future is to have your video, your content. So I want to say this. You put it into the system, you attach it to a client record, and it becomes personalized. So that as your AI model is having the conversation, hey, Greg, just wanted to quickly send you this information. Hope you and Alyssa are doing well. Here we go. We're talking about your house at 123 Happy Lane, and you're not recording that video. It's filling in the spots as appropriate.
That is bananas.
Yeah.
And that's the future. That's what's going to happen in 2024. So that you can send out that personal touch video that even ends with, 3 paragraphs deep. Greg, I know we talked a little bit about this before because I sent you over that video on, May 3rd. Okay, because it knows when it sent you the video.
Right.
I just want you to be able to go back and do that. So part of this email that I'm generating now is going to include a link for that video. But Greg, when you go look at that, I want you to pay special attention to minute 30 seconds, because that's exactly what applies to the sewer lateral that we're talking about. Now, because you're in Alameda County, this doesn't apply to you, but it's something that you should be concerned about because they're talking about that. As we get into 2024, there's also some new laws that are coming into play. You could put all of these things into this little ball and you just hand it out there. And we've always talked about things like home actions and newsletters and things that we send out. AI is going to take, because nobody likes to do that, AI is going to take that and run with it. And the CRM that's out there is going to do this stuff for you. So you're going to tie in all of these tools. Now, I am going to make one little plug here, Greg. I just finished writing AI for real estate that I'm putting into an audiobook for Greg. If you want to send me or Greg an email, I will get you a free copy of this book. You can send it to Michael@supportgeeks.com or Greg@GregMcDaniel.com. Because I know he loves when I use that email address. That means you got to check that, baby. For those of you that don't know, Greg McDaniel has been using a Gmail address for the last 100 years. And it's, what is it? You're hot, daddy?
No, it's McDaniel.com. McDaniel.44 at Gmail. But
McDaniel.44, because we're all going to remember that right away. And I finally switched him over to Greg@GregMcDaniel.com. And he doesn't like it. Like, I don't want to check to mail. And I'm like, we can forward it over. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't want to do this.
So
I'm like, dude, the future is here. So part of 2024 is we all need to get off of Gmail and Yahoo. And if you still have an AOL.com email address, any one of you are using your AOL.com email address, you need to call me and I will help you for free because I hate AOL. And I think all of you should too. And it's all of those things, coming together. This is how you're going to look more professional.
That structure. Yep.
So send an email to greg@gregmcdaniel.com or michael@supportgeeks.com, and we will get you a free copy of AI for Real Estate. And that is supposed to be, we're going to print. We will have a digital and audiobook copy. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully I'm not over promising here. That'll be done by Monday.
And this is December 13th, 2023. We're recording this. So you guys can hit us up in the future. Whenever you hear this recording, you guys can get it.
Yep. You can get it forever. It'll be on Kindle. It'll be at pretty much every online site that you can, and it will be updated. This includes what you need to know about AI, as well as all of the tools that we've talked about and some that we haven't. I know that Brad has been on here before talking about likely.ai. There are tools that can help you figure out who's going to get foreclosed on, who's likely to sell based on statistical averages, who's most likely to sell based on those statistical averages, so that you can choose who you market to. And when you get into those things, likely.ai is a pricey option. So you have to have a system in place to leverage it. Oh, wait a minute. No, you don't. Because now with Likely AI, they're building in AI so you can use generative AI to actually create a workflow. And that workflow is find the people in this list. So you got a list from the title that are likely to sell. Now I can send those people a postcard, and Likely AI can go out and figure out, does this person, based on their name and address, have an email address that I can generally like, and it can send them out automated emails.
Well, also they do another thing when you put in an address into likely.ai, it will tell you a buyer profile and the top 3 zip codes to be marketing to. So you can rip all that content out when you talk to the folks and say, Michael, Alyssa, hey, you live in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip code. The best other 3 zip codes to market to for the most likely buyer is 1, 2, 3. Also, this is most likely the buyer based upon your home and location. These are the qualifications and qualities that they're most likely going to be possessing. So let's sit down and talk. If you think I can do a good job of selling your home, you build that into the AI with video follow-up and text messages and everything else. Now you're walking with liquid fire at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scorched earth fucking kind of like decimation to competition.
Well, and I think the important part about something like this is there really is no way for the average person to get that information.
No.
Right. So if we look at, what's a buyer profile? I've been in real estate for 30 years, and I'm not sure I could figure out what areas are most likely to buy this house.
Well, you used to have to go back and pull records and then look at data and talk to other agents, say, hey, where did your buyers come from? You had to get it organically in boots on ground. Now it's automatically created because they can connect the last address to the current address. They correlate them with everybody else buying in the different marketplaces based upon demographics. And you're just like, holy Farganoogle.
Yeah.
Well, and that does tie into one of the other things, and I'm pretty sure you can work your way into this in AI, is we're coming out of a pandemic. This was a time unlike any of us have ever known. And I think there were a lot of homeownership changes during that window. There were a lot of people that moved. There were a lot of people that bought vacation homes. There were a lot of people that thought they were going to be the next Airbnb maven. Okay. One of the things that all of you that are anywhere near a desirable vacation market should look at is, okay, what happened in the last 2 years and what do we see going forward? So for the San Francisco Bay Area, there were a lot of people that bought homes in Lake Tahoe, Truckee. Okay. You should be looking at those, and AI can help you. Likely AI can help you do this. You should be looking at that and say, who bought or sold in the last 2 years and moved to Tahoe? Because it's quite likely those people want to come home.
They do, actually. My buddy bought an incline.
Yeah.
And he's selling his house. He's bought several homes in incline. but he and his wife they're selling their last one up there. And the reason why they're selling is because there's too many Bay Area people moving up there.
Yeah. That's in a lot of different places that you saw a lot of migration to. They are coming home. They're going
They're coming
home.
home. They're done. Or they bought an Airbnb and said, "Whoa, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be."
Yeah.
The laws are changing. The public outcry over, they shouldn't be able to rent the home to, just anybody. Those are changing. And I think you're going to see more and more people that bought during the pandemic that are like, okay, whoa. And if the interest rates would tick just a little bit lower, they will run over and they will be like, okay, I want to go home. I want to go where my friends are. I want to go where it doesn't snow. I want to go where, it doesn't take me 4 hours to get to a good store and all of those things. And I read Alyssa, maybe you can speak to this. I read an interesting fact. If the interest rates decrease 1%, we will get 5 million more people nationally in the market to buy and sell homes.
No,
I've heard that. I've heard that too. There's quite a bit that I think a very slight movement in the rate. We've already seen it in the last couple weeks. We've seen the rates coming down a little bit more and a lot more confidence. I feel that I've been seeing versus earlier this year. So I've as much as that you can always find the people out there that are going to say that 2024 brace because it's going to be rough, and then there's other people going, finally, we're through 22, 23. 24 is going to be the best year of our life. I'm on that boat right now, so it's kind of depends on where you're coming from. Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting talking about these tech gadgets. Right. And for when I'm selling my house in 24 January, in the first part of January, I have like 3 other properties coming on, and I'm going to go and I'm going to play with these. I know Michael and I have other stuff we're working on with the AIM program and some other coaching stuff. But I mean, this is something that we're not talking hypothetically about this. We're not talking up 10,000 feet. I'm talking boots on ground, use technology, because why wouldn't we all want to use this stuff, guys and gals? This is something that, if you don't pay attention, if you stay locked in your sandbox, in your mind of going like, this is what I've always done, this is what I'm always going to do. By the way, I am very guilty of that. And I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of friends who are massive cold callers. I mean, I'm talking like we're putting up probably 40, 50, 70,000 calls a day kind of in this group. That's a day.
It's my worst nightmare.
And you got to go back and analyze how much of it is working, what's not, what's working, right?
Exactly. But then taking that forward front work that we talked about, you can't give that up. You can't give the belly to belly, face to face, the hard work in itself to be there. But once you get someone on the hook, you don't got to think about it anymore. Your essence will be communicating with that entity. And all of a sudden you're omnipresent. And all of a sudden going like, this is the greatest communicator on earth. Like, I can't believe he's still single. It's so weird.
You stand out like no other, though. I mean, really, you have the ability to really stand out.
And forget postcards, guys. Postcards are going to cost you about 75 cents to $1 for the big boys. If you guys can put that money towards what we're just talking about, $75 a month,
all day,
and you have all of these people, you can go to cold data and you can, get people's information, do calls and communicate, connect with them, fill that database, fill that funnel, relate back to them and build friendships and become an asset to them versus someone that's going to be just, a bloodsucker and a commission, hunter. You're actually going to give a shit about the other people because you're giving them information. Imagine if you go to Inman News, right? Let's if you want to recruit for other agents, into your team, your downline, whatever company you're with, right? For me with EXP, I'm going to go out to Inman News and I'm going to create content about what's going on in the marketplace. We have a good friend of ours, Ricky Caruth, doing a great job of that. He and I have been buddies for about 10 plus years at this point. He's killing it. He's doing a great job, but I can out create him because I can upload the content and then have it link back to have a conversation with me to have a deeper dive into the info. Same thing for local events here in San Francisco. There's this thing called SF Fun and Cheap. and they have events that take place all over all the different counties, right? So if I start creating content showing people what's going on in the area, now I'm relatable back down to the community base. Do
Mhm.
local interviews on a local, like, use fireflies. I want to make sure I say that correctly. And you create a conversation with a business owner, or you do an article or a video. Go to Discord, take your ums and ums out, right? Then you create it to an AI video that's going to be all about that local business. And all you did is do a 3-minute interview or just do a 2-minute walkthrough. And all of a sudden you have content that's just flying out the freaking door on all levels.
And it just keeps on going and going. As long as that restaurant's around, as long as that, whatever, I see stuff from 2 years ago that suddenly starts becoming popular again, because
Yes.
someone liked it. Yeah.
So, Michael, let's
Just-
wrap this up. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. It's probably one of our longest shows we've ever done. It feels like we've been doing this for 35 minutes.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Support Geeks. They've been a personal help to me. I highly endorse them on a personal level. Michael, where can people get a hold of Support Geeks and get an appointment set with you to show them what you guys can do?
So the easiest way is through supportgeeks.com. We are a US based organization. We've got a handful of people with over 100 years combined real estate experience. So you're not going to reach out to us and get a hold of somebody that has no idea what a CRM is or what they are doing in the real estate world, what a TC is, or a virtual assistant. We know all of those things, and we know how to help you. If you want to do mail merge, what we've done for Greg is things like helping him migrate to a new computer. All of those things are what we do. We do it. 99% of what we do is remote. We also have people all around the country that we work with. If you needed something at a broker level for setting up network or creating an AI tool, we do development. So if you wanted something in AI that was unique, we can help you with the development of that product. But overall, our goal is to just kind of spread the wealth of what we know and help you out. The nice thing about our organization is we are by far the least expensive group around. I know that money is tight as we come into Q4, Q1, where people have maybe slowed down a little bit for the holidays. Our rates start at $75 an hour, and we bill in 20-minute increments after that first hour. So it is really easy to work with us, and we're not here to convert you with technology. If you want us to do the work, we'll do the work. If you want us to teach you how to do the work, we'll teach you how to do the work. We're also realists. I listened to Greg talking about, all these tools and stopping the postcards. Greg's leaving out the part where no matter what you do with AI and technology, it's still work, right? I laugh. I would not do cold calls or door knocking because it's not in my personality. With that said, it's probably the hardest work that I can imagine. So everybody's got a perspective of, what is your work? If you think today that you're going to drop everything that you're doing, all your postcards, all your mailings, and you're going to convert to AI and spend $75 a month, Greg's shaking his head because he knows the answer. You're not going to be able to do that. You need to combine this and use this as just another tool that you have. And again, I would just remind you, this is to take the things that you don't like doing away so that you can do the things that you like doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And give you more time to, spend with people.
Yeah. And maybe you don't like people, right, Michael? But maybe this will give you the time to learn to like people.
She gave away my dirty little secret.
I know.
I don't mind people. It's strange people.
Yeah. I'll give them to me. I'll take the strange people and I'll give you that.
So
Charlie.
Michael is right, and Alyssa is right. When I said, stop doing postcards, that was an example of a large scale expense. That, I mean, if it works, it works. We've sent out millions of postcards, literally, and it freaking works. Like, we've gone to listing appointments, and they dump out a vanilla envelope like of years of postcards and letters and everything else that they've been keeping. So it works. Like Michael said, we're just taking away the shit you don't want to do. Right? Yep. That's all we're saying here.
Focus.
Alyssa Glutz. Now, people don't know, or they should know, you wrote a book called Color My Credit. And how can people get a copy of that? And where can you get more of your goodness?
So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, book is available there. I don't do credit repair, so some people get confused with that. I do credit empowerment. I don't believe you need to be repaired. I believe you need to be educated and empowered. So I teach a very specific model. I teach the credit score model for buying a house, for buying a car. I do a live Monday and Friday on TikTok, but you can also find me I have a TikTok channel, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I use the stories quite a bit and just try to give you some good stuff that we wish we would have learned in school about homes, about buying homes, about maximizing your credit score, but in a fun Jay-Z kind of a way.
That is not a joke.
Jay-Z.
That is not a joke. It is very entertaining. It's very educational. And she's to the point. She's zero bullshit. I personally watch her live stuff. Honestly, it's not a joke. And I sit there and I'll just play it as I'm walking around or just whatever. And I love hearing the people's comments and how she reacts and interacts with them. So both Michael and Alyssa are phenomenal assets and resources. Resources is plurals times 100. Go say hi. Interact with these people, guys. I don't bring people on my show that are bullshit. I mean, I work with these people. Alyssa and I do deals together. Michael and I have worked together for 20 years. I mean, this is zero fucking around time. Screw your head on. Get ready for 2024. Get ready for the future, because guess what? No matter what, it's on the way. So brace for impact. Which way are you going to get hit? Ready to rock and roll or blindsided? So, all right, guys, I love you to pieces. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I can't believe I love you guys so much. We cannot do the show without you, by the way. Please share this. Follow me. Follow Michael. Follow Alyssa. Make sure that you guys, if you can, give us a like and a subscribe as well. And make sure your broker knows about this so that all of your offices will watch this content, be offended by my cursing, but love the content that comes with it. All right, guys, we love you to pieces. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.